Good morning. I am Alka Negi Tomar. Today I am going to share with you a most extraordinary story. The story of a woman saint of Kashmir. The saint about whom Kashmiris often said that there are only two words of importance in Kashmir. One is Allah, the other Lalla. Indeed, we are going to listen to the story of Lal Ded or Mother Lalla of Kashmir. Although I have tried a number of sources for the script today, yet I want to rely more on folklore. Lal Ded or Yogini Lalleshwari was a 14th century poet saint. She was a contemporary of Saint Namdev, Saint Gyaneshwar, Saint Kabir and others. She was not only a rebel but also a poet saint, a mystic, a Shaivite, a Paramhans and an Avdhut. She was so totally absorbed in her beloved Lord that she became unmindful of the world around her. In the mid 14th century, the political situation in the country was turbulent. People were being wrenched into the debate on religious differences. Religion had taken the form of a divider rather than being theology on peaceful living and harmonious relations. It was during this period that Lal Ded was born. She ignored the differences of varied philosophies and brought truth to the people. Lal Ded got a little education in her maternal home. She was married into a Brahmin family when she was just 12. She was named Padmavati after she got married. Padmavati was exceptionally beautiful and she was highly devoted to God. She was ill-treated in her marital home. Since her mother-in-law would load her with work, she got little time to pray. That is why she would begin her day a little early. She would take a pitcher and move to the nearby river to fetch water. Here she would sneak to a nearby temple to pray to Lord Shiva. Thus, she would take a little more time than other girls of the area. This made her mother-in-law suspicious about her character. She started feeding imaginary stories to Padmavati's husband. He too got jealous of his wife and took to being cruel to her. It is a common lore that Padmavati's mother-in-law would make her work more and more and feed her less and less. She would place a stone in her bowl and then top it up with rice so that the bowl looked full but held little food. Padmavati never complained. In fact, the more her mother-in-law tried making her life miserable, the more detached she got. The more detached she got, the more frustrated her husband became. The more frustrated he became, the more miserable her life became in her marital home. Thus passed 12 years of humiliation and torture. Then one day, when her husband could bear no longer, he told her to leave his house, thinking that she would plead with him to allow her to stay. Without looking back, Padmavati turned towards the exit. This infuriated her husband. Padmavati had exquisite jewelry on her. He thought that she was moving out because of the rich ornaments that she was wearing. He shouted at her, "You can't leave like this. Return all that you take from here." Stung by the words, Lal Ded turned and removed the heavy necklace, the earpieces, the bangles, and all other jewels that she was wearing at the time. In her specific state of mind, she did not even realize that she removed the garments that she was wearing too. Everyone in the household was agape, their eyes lowered in shame. They tried to cover her, but she left in gay abandon. Hereafter, she never covered herself. She started roaming the streets and jungles. She sang songs of devotion. So pious were her words that people started respecting her and called her Mother Lalla or Lalla Ded. She got so absorbed in prayers that she became an avdhut, a person who is so focused on one point that all else becomes obsolete to him. Lalleshwari was also in touch with the famous Sufi saint Sayyid Ali Hamdani. She would have discussions with him, thereby bringing together Vedant, Bhakti, and Islam. She propagated selfless devotion and complete surrender to Shiva. She professed that mere chanting of Shiva name is enough to be blessed by his divine grace. She believed in the formless, omnipresent form of Shiva. She was revered amongst the Hindus and Muslims alike. Her songs and her sayings were so deep and profound that people would learn them verbatim, and they became part of the Kashmiri folklore. Her vahs or verses were learned as Shruti and then passed on from generation to generation. They were written and published in the 20th century. To know about this mystic saint, you can read Lalla Yogeshwari by Anand Kaul, Lalla Vakyani by Sir George Grierson and Dr. Lionel D. Barnett, Lal Ded by Jailal Kaul, Siddha Yogini, A Kashmiri Secret of Divine Knowledge by Gauri Leila Khalid, Lalla Unveiled, The Naked Voice of the Feminine. It is a translation by Jennifer Sundin. That's all for now. Be happy, stay connected, and don't forget to share our channel. Bye.